Many of us are probably familiar with the phrase, "Behind every great man, there is an even better woman." The women who stood alongside such dark leaders as Joseph Stalin, Saddam Hussein, Pol Pot, Franco, Adolf Hitler, were often caught up in the chaotic currents of ambition, ideology, and tyranny. We know little about these women, and now we will delve into their complex stories. Clara Petacci, also known as Claretta, was the long-term mistress of Italian Prime Minister Benito Mussolini. While Mussolini was infamous for his numerous romantic entanglements, including marriages, affairs, and liaisons with female journalists, Petacci remained a constant presence in his life. She was the daughter of the Pope's personal doctor and shared a deep, enduring connection with Mussolini that set her apart from the others. In 1945, as the Italian resistance brought Mussolini's regime to an end, Petacci stayed by his side, refusing to leave him. Both were executed by gunshot, and their bodies were taken to Milan, where they were publicly displayed at a petrol station. Hung upside down, their remains became the focus of a vengeful crowd who gathered to unleash their fury on the pair. The grim spectacle marked the violent conclusion of Mussolini's rule. Maria del Carmen Polo y Martinez Valdez, widely known as the First Lady of Meras, was the wife of Franco, the long-standing military dictator of Spain. Throughout Franco's authoritarian rule, which saw tens of thousands of political opponents silenced or forcibly disappeared, Carmen Polo played a key role in reinforcing his regime. Fiercely loyal and deeply involved in his affairs, she rarely allowed him to travel without her. Carmen Polo's influence extended beyond mere companionship. She was a steadfast supporter of Franco's policies and decisions, no matter how controversial. Her unwavering dedication to him and his regime cemented her as a critical figure in his government. Even after Franco's death in 1975, she continued to receive a large public pension. Nadezhda Alliluyeva first encountered Joseph Stalin when she was just 10 years old, during a time when her father, Sergei Alliluyev, provided shelter to the future Soviet leader after Stalin's escape from Siberian exile. The two married in 1919, when Alliluyeva was 18 and Stalin was 42. Their marriage, however, was marked by constant tension, with frequent arguments between the couple. Alliluyeva also struggled with severe mental health issues, which progressively worsened over time. These personal challenges ultimately led to her tragic death by suicide in 1932. Eva Braun, the wife of Adolf Hitler, began her relationship with him in 1929 when she was just 19 years old. At that time, Hitler was 42, making him 23 years her senior. Throughout their 16-year relationship, Braun is reported to have attempted suicide twice. These incidents are often viewed not as attempts to escape from Hitler, but rather as dramatic gestures aimed at capturing his attention and strengthening their bond. Despite their intimacy, Hitler reportedly kept Braun out of the public eye, concerned that being associated with a partner might diminish his appeal to female supporters. In 1945, as Allied forces advanced on Berlin, Braun and Hitler were married in the Führer bunker. Shortly after their wedding, the couple took their own lives together, sealing their fate within the confines of the bunker. Sajida Talfah, Saddam Hussein's wife and cousin, played a significant role in the personal life of the former Iraqi dictator. Their marriage, arranged by their families in 1963, marked the beginning of a union that would last for decades. However, after more than 20 years together, Hussein took a second wife, Samira Shah Bandar, in 1986, while still married to Talfah. The decision angered both Talfah and their son, Uday Hussein. Tensions escalated in 1988 when Uday murdered Kamel Hanagegio, a trusted bodyguard of Saddam Hussein, accusing him of facilitating relations between Hussein and Shah Bandar. There has been speculation that this act of violence may have been carried out at Talfah's request, although there is no definitive evidence to support this claim. Following the fall of Hussein's regime in 2003 and his execution in 2006, Sajida Talfah disappeared from public life. She reportedly fled to Qatar, where she now lives in relative isolation, far from the spotlight she once enjoyed. Safia Farkash was the longtime wife of Libya's controversial leader, Muammar Gaddafi, and the mother of 7 of his 8 children. Their relationship reportedly began around 1970 when Farkash, then a nurse, treated Gaddafi during his recovery from appendicitis. Throughout Gaddafi's reign, Farkash largely stayed out of the public eye, choosing to lead a quiet and private life despite her position as the dictator's wife. However, after Gaddafi's violent death in 2011 during Libya's civil uprising, she emerged as a vocal advocate. Farkash began demanding thorough investigations into the circumstances surrounding his assassination. Amal al-Sadah, while not the only wife of Osama bin Laden, is considered to have been his favored companion. She is thought to have stood by his side during the September 11, 2001 attacks and remained loyal to him until his death in 2011. During the U.S. Navy SEAL raid that resulted in bin Laden's death, al-Sadah was reportedly injured, suffering a gunshot wound to her leg. Since the raid, it's believed that al-Sadah has been living in Pakistan, where she is under confinement due to her declining health. Khieu Ponnary was a key figure in the infamous Cambodian Gang of Four, a group inspired by the inner circle of the Chinese Communist Party. This group included her sister, Khieu Thirith, her husband, Ieng Sari, and Ponnary's own spouse, Saloth Sar, who later became known as Pol Pot. Although Ponnary's precise role in her husband's regime after he seized control of Cambodia in 1975 is somewhat unclear, she did hold several important political positions during this period. By 1978, Ponnary's mental health began to decline as she struggled with paranoia linked to schizophrenia. This ultimately led to Pol Pot divorcing her and marrying another woman. Shortly after, he retreated into the jungle, spending his final years under house arrest. In 1996, Ponnary, along with her sister and brother-in-law, was granted amnesty by the Cambodian government, protecting her from prosecution. She spent her remaining years under the care of Thirith and Ieng Sari, passing away in 2003.